Aaron has to get the second Super Bowl. And I think the pressure is mounting because we are getting towards the end of his career.
Wild card weekend in the books. Can we rise? Can we get awake? Look at Big Man Bets, always there for you. The Hall of Famer, Orlando Pace's Rams look good. Nick Mangold, 7-time Pro Bowler. Bills, Chiefs. Is this the AFC Championship game this weekend? I think we're all excited to see Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen tee it up here and get it going at Arrowhead.
Yeah, I think this one is interesting because we're getting a replay from last year. The Bills and the Chiefs, this is going to be a great matchup. But then I think even more so, the winner of that has to play, and which is funny to say with the, number 1 seed Tennessee Titans, they have to play an underdog. And so, you have that scrappy team coming up and whoever's going to win, Kansas City or the Bills, I don't know. I'm probably going to Kansas City, but I haven't decided yet. But to think that we're getting this game before the championship game is crazy. Like it's very exciting after the week that we had where everything was we already knew what was going to happen. This one I think it just gets you all giddy.
Yeah, I think this is the one everyone had penciled in as the AFC Championship. But, to be honest with you, I think it'll be a great game. But, Tennessee and Cincinnati may have something to say, especially Tennessee, who is the number 1 seed. Can't believe they're probably the least talked about number 1 seed probably in the last 10 years. Nobody's talking about them. Nobody's giving them much of a chance. People are, as we are here talking about, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills game as, being the heir apparent. So I think these guys are just, obviously I think Tennessee still has a chance depending on how Derrick Henry comes back and how they choose to use him. They're still a tough physical team. And if you have to travel to Nashville, either Buffalo or Kansas City to play that Tennessee Titan team, it's going to be a tough match. So I do think Tennessee will have something to say about that. And it still could be a good game if they get past Cincinnati.
Orlando, bringing back Derrick, is that a challenge at this point? Or, hey, we've been riding with Derrick for years. This should be like no big deal. Step right back in. Didn't even know you were gone.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's what you do. If you want to win, you got to lay all your cards out on the table. And Derrick Henry's that big, that ace or that joker or whatever you want to call it in terms of that. But he's the guy that really makes that offense go. And then when you look at Kansas City and Buffalo, they would have had played 2 tough physical games 2 weeks prior to, and nobody wants to tackle fresh Derrick Henry in the third and fourth quarter if they got a chance to meet up in the AFC Championship game. So that could be the deciding factor in that game. A fresh Derrick Henry facing a team that's probably depleted, a little injured, and not as fresh as the Tennessee Titans.
Nick, do you think the maybe lack of respect for a 1 seed the Titans are getting, does that push their locker room forward a little bit?
Oh, I think definitely. I think Vrabel is pushing that like no one's business right now. He's saying, hey, listen, we're the number 1 seed, and we've already been written off. No one expects us to do anything. I think it could not write itself better for the Titans, where they're sitting where they are. And they haven't had Derrick Henry for, 7-8 weeks now, and they're still the number 1 seed. So now they're getting them back. They have the stain on them that they're not worthy of the number 1 seed. They're getting their best offensive playmaker back. I think it just kind of sets up for them. Unfortunately, they're playing my Bengals, which makes me a little divided. So I don't know what to do with it. But it's one of those things. Like it's kind of crazy. We're sitting here going into the divisional round. We're like, and we've already set, all right, whoever wins the Chiefs Bills game is going to the Super Bowl. Like you got to be, when you're in Tennessee and you're looking at that, like the Bengals, you can kind of write off. You're like, listen, we're a low seed, we're trying to make the best of it. And we're going to go as far as we can. But when you're Tennessee and you're saying we're number 1, we're the top seed of the AFC, and people aren't even giving us a chance to get to the Super Bowl, that chip on the shoulder is going to be huge.
You just mentioned Vrabel, which has me thinking, is he maybe not getting enough credit? Perhaps, maybe he's even in the elite of NFL coaches right now. Does that sound fair here to Orlando? You want to take that one?
Yeah, you know what? For me, he should be getting all the credit. When you lose your number one playmaker on offense and still have the number one seed in what was a tough AFC championship, I don't think they do it. I don't think they talk about him enough. Obviously, if Andy Reid was in that situation, they'd make it seem like he was the next thing coming, to Vince Lombardi or something. So I think he's a young coach, obviously in a smaller market, and Tennessee doesn't have that cachet or that tradition. And he's a younger coach, but I think they should talk about him. I think from what he was able to accomplish to capture that number one seed, missing his star player is huge in today's game.
You think he's the best coach left in the AFC, Nick? Is that too tall?
Best coach left is we have
we got Ant.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Andy Reid has this tenure that you're like, all right, we can always go back to it. He does have the Super Bowl, so you get that thrown in there too. So I would put it up. I mean, I think he's either one or two, and I don't know if you can give it directly to either one of them. Andy has had so much more history, and he had all those years in Philly where they got close but never got there. He gets to Kansas City, and then he gets there. Vrabel, has skyrocketed through the coaching tree, starting out low level at Ohio State and just, absolute skyrocket to the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. I think this, it has to be decided down the road, but right now, I think for the job that they did, it's tough because even if you look at the whole season, Mike Vrabel had to deal with the injury to Derrick Henry and had to go through that and keep that team going. Where Andy Reid also had to deal with Kansas City was not good at the beginning of the year, and they turned it around and they figured it out, and they're now back on top. Who do you judge better? Is dealing with injuries better than turning around losses? Like, I don't know. That is a tough one.
I'm just looking at, he's got Ryan Tannehill, and they've got Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. You lost your running back. He's doing something right over there. He's right. I think that.
Oh, definitely.
We all agree on that. So, all right. Does anyone want to throw a curveball here in the KC Buffalo matchup? Allen versus Mahomes. If you could have either one, do either of you want to say that, I would take Josh Allen for everything that he does and his size and his running ability and, I don't know, his continued ascension? Does anybody, or is it an obvious, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, for me, I think it's obvious. You take Patrick Mahomes any day. Any guy that has type of arm talent and can just flip it and, find ways to win games in different angles, get out of the pocket, that kind of thing. The one thing I don't like about Josh Allen is yet to be seen. In pressure situations, he still he makes decisions that's not quite the best decision. He may throw the ball up or throw it to the other team, or he doesn't make those great decisions in pressure moments in which I think Patrick Mahomes still throws the ball well, and even in those moments, he makes big plays.
I want to take Josh Allen so bad just because, like, the Buffalo Bills, that you're kind of the upstate New York, and you have this gritty attitude to you, and Kansas City, I know, is not like the bright lights of LA or New York and everything. But I can't, like, Patrick Mahomes, he's able to do things that other quarterbacks can't do. And it's awesome to watch him play, and it's been great to see him come around where he doesn't have to make up for the defense, and where he was making the mistakes because I think he was trying too hard, and he's now back to just being Patrick Mahomes and making the plays when he can. And the other thing that worries me, Josh Allen, too, is he is running. So, that leads to injuries. And we've seen that many times over, multiple quarterbacks having to deal with that. So the fact that, Patrick isn't as mobile. He still runs and he's all over the place, but I feel like there's more design runs for Josh Allen. I want to go with Josh Allen, but I got to go Patrick Mahomes. I mean, come on.
The run game might come back to get Josh at some point. You keep on taking a bunch of hits, even as a big guy. That's always a dangerous thing. But here, let's move on. Let's look at the 1 seed in the NFC. Of course, your Green Bay Packers. Look, Aaron Rodgers has his place in NFL history no matter what happens. But I am asking the question: is his legacy on the line here? You're the 1 seed. You were there last year. You lost to Brady again. It was on your shoulders. If they come up short this year, is his legacy kind of always tainted, the guy that can't get over the hump and win the big one, Nick?
Yeah. I mean, there's still time to tell if it doesn't work out this year, if he continues to play. You look at Peyton, he went to another team and got the second Super Bowl, and that kind of solidified what he had done. But I mean, it's one of those things where, and we've been talking about it, Aaron has to get the second Super Bowl. And I think the pressure is mounting because we are getting towards the end of his career. I don't know how much longer he has. We're watching Tom go, into his mid 40s and still playing at a high level. So maybe he's got plenty of time, but I think that pressure, it's got to be ticking. And so coming in as the number 1 seed, you get that bye week, you get the rest and everything. The tough part is they're coming against the 49ers at home, who, he's 0-3 in the playoffs against the 49ers. So I don't know, that pressure just keeps mounting, keeps going up and up. Like you've never beaten the 49ers in the playoffs. You need to win a second Super Bowl. I think this will definitely be a tell because he's had these awesome seasons and he hasn't been able to finish them. Might be a stain on him, which is disappointing because I think he's done fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's a slight knock on his legacy. Do I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer? Absolutely. But when you talk about the best quarterback of his era, in terms of championship, people only remember the champions at some point in their life, and they know Peyton got 2. Tom has won, 6 or 7. So, when you look at, that, Eli Manning has 2, Ben Roethlisberger has 2. So when you look at, hey man, is he a part of that conversation? If he's a great quarterback and he only won 1 championship, and then he has the number 1 seed this year, and teams have to come through Green Bay, he has a pretty good chance of making it to the Super Bowl and winning and getting his second Super Bowl. But I think ultimately guys are measured by, especially at the quarterback position, guys are measured by the championships they won, especially when you had so much talent throughout his era, his 17 years. And obviously Tom Brady dominated the era, but there were some guys that snuck in there and got a couple championships as well. And he's trying to be in that group now. So.
Orlando, we've had this argument. I'm going to poke the bear again here. There's no way you're taking Ben Roethlisberger or Eli Manning over Aaron Rodgers, even if Aaron comes up short this year, right? Or, okay, you're shaking your head. Maybe you are, really?
No, I'm not. Just in terms of talent, obviously Aaron has probably the most talent of all those guys in terms of his just arm talent and ability and where he's from. But, obviously, yeah, you look at Ben and both Eli, you could, if you know the game, you say, hey, defense really won a couple of those games for Super Bowls for those 2 quarterbacks. So you're right. I will probably still take Aaron Rodgers just because I remember, I will always remember just the arm talent that he has, the type of, the cachet and things like that comes along with him. But I think they have a pretty good chance of being there in the Super Bowl and winning it this year, actually. So.
Is anybody giving the Niners a chance in this game? Nick, no? Yes? Maybe?
That's a good question. In talking on, Aaron and what he's done, it amazes me that I remember it was 2013-ish or so, 13, 14. We were out, it was Green Bay was playing Monday night, and we were out for a teammate's birthday, and we're sitting there, we're watching, I think we were at a Scar Bar, and we're watching the Monday night game, and you see Aaron sitting there, like he's going through his cadence, and he's just smiling the whole time, and like you see that exceptionalism on the field. Like I love how he plays the game and how he does it. And his legacy is determined, I think, by championships. And when we then go to the 49ers and sit there and say, well, but he's never beat the 49ers in the playoffs. Like, is he going to be able to overcome that? It'll be interesting. And I've been riding Green Bay, all season long. They've been good to me in the standings. And so, I feel like, I think they're sitting, what are they? They're plus, Packers are -6 right now on WinBet. And it's going to be so cold. The 49ers, they're gritty. They run the ball, they're physical. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this is Aaron's year, and that's the way that the soap opera of the NFL has been written. I don't know. It's going to be a tall task for the 49ers to go to the Packers after that first round bye, getting, Packers having the first home field advantage. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be cold. It's going to be tough for the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree. Going back to back with the 49ers having 2 physical games back to back last week of the season versus the Rams, and then the playoff game here versus Dallas. And then Green Bay is getting healthy. I think they'll have their all-pro left tackle back. A couple of receivers back, and they're getting healthy with that bye week. Obviously Aaron's toe can get back, right. And I think it's just a tall task for the 49ers to go on the road again and try to beat a number 1 seed in the Green Bay Packers. In the way they're playing, Aaron Rodgers, that offense, I have the Green Bay Packers in this game.
What about your Rams, Orlando? Let's look at WinBet for a second here. They're the third to the bottom at +800. Only the Niners are +1200. The Bengals are +1500. Packers are the favorite at +325. Then the Chiefs, then the Bills, then the Bucks, and the Titans on top of your Rams. I don't know. Maybe they looked great last week. Of course, Arizona was terrible. But do you think people are sleeping on your Rams, perhaps, that they're the best value out there right now?
Obviously, we played inconsistent throughout the year. Some weeks we look like last week, and then obviously some weeks we don't look that great. But hopefully, with Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, they've all been on the same page in terms of calling the offense. But our defense, has been playing really well. Von Miller's kind of coming into his own. Obviously AD is doing his thing. So, and Jalen Ramsey holding down the backfield. So I'm excited about what we can do. Obviously defensively, but Matt Stafford, can he not turn the ball over? As long as he doesn't turn the ball over and we run the ball, I think having Akers back was a big boost to our offense. And I look forward to seeing what we're doing in Tampa this week.
Oof.
You see, I'm speaking in our, like now they had a good week. It's our team. It's my team now.
Yeah. You come back around quickly. I love it. I don't know. We talked all season long about how, the Cardinals were the best team in the NFL because of their record. And, we all really didn't believe it. So coming into the playoffs, the Cardinals losing quickly kind of makes sense with the Rams. And when they were making all these trades and they got Matthew Stafford, they got Von Miller, you have Aaron Donald, and they were building this Odell Beckham. They're building this super team, and there's Super Bowl or bust. I don't know. I don't see them getting past Tom Brady, especially being a team a West Coast team that has to go to the East Coast. I think that travel is very difficult. I know. They have technically the early game on Sunday, but it's still right in their time frame, so that might negate that whole travel thing. But their defense is playing very well. But Matthew Stafford is the one, and there's a ton of pressure on him that he needs to go further because he got the monkey off his back, that he got the first playoff win, and that was huge. I hope for Orlando's sake that there isn't that I got my playoff win and I'm good. type mentality, and they go out there and lay an egg coming up, because I can see that happening.
Yeah, and just watching that Tampa game last week, I know it was against the Eagles, but still, Tampa Bay's defense was flying around, making all kinds of plays. So hopefully, Matt Stafford and that offense can get some points on the board and run the ball pretty effectively against that defense.
You like an OBJ in wearing your uniform, Orlando? Has he found a home here?
I think he has. Obviously, Sean McVay, the coach, has done a great job finding out what he does well, and it seems like him and Matt Stafford are, on the same page in terms of offense. I think he's getting more comfortable with the offense. Letting him throw a touchdown pass, a 40-yard touchdown pass was great. It kind of gets his juices flowing again. So I think I like him in that role, and I'm sure he's enjoying winning and being in the playoffs, and for his first time in the NFL as well. So,
Nick, you think he's making himself attractive to other teams, or buyer beware still with OBJ?
I mean, I think you still have to be buyer beware, just because it's OBJ. But at the same time, like, he has been a model citizen since showing up in LA, and you haven't seen him on TMZ. He has been making disruptions in the locker room, on the sidelines, and he's making catches, he's making plays. So I don't know if it's OBJ coming around and being like, hey, listen, I'm kind of on my last leg here, and I need to be the Boy Scout to be able to continue in this league, or if it's Sean McVay, or if it's Matthew Stafford, or whoever on that team is getting the best out of him. But he is, and I think any team that's looking for wide receiver help has to take a look and say, listen, I think he may have, turned that corner, gotten to the old man age, where it's like, hey, listen, I need to be good so I can keep playing and make these catches. Any team that's missing a playmaker probably will take a look.
Let me say this, Nick. I think winning solves all things. As you know, if you win, you're happier, right? I think he's an LA guy, so he loves being in LA and wants to stay in LA and be around all that glitz and glamour. So that will temper your expectation or the drama or whatever comes along with you. But winning tends to solve all things. If they were losing and not in the playoffs, I'm sure you'll hear more. But good for him that he's maturing and he's in a place where he seems like he's happy and performing well.
See, I'd like to say that I'm on the positive side, that he's maturing, and it's not just the winning. I want to be. This is me being positive and building people up, not tearing people down.
Nice.
For the record, I think I'm more with Orlando. Like, this LA thing is sweet.
It's sweet.
I'm enjoying my life out here. It ain't gonna get much better than what I'm dealing with right now. All right, hey, let's make a coaching change. I give you Arizona. I give you Dallas. Who needs to go more, Cliff or Mike? McCarthy, Kingsbury. Who wants to go first on this? You jump on in here. Arizona or Dallas? Who needs that coaching change more?
I don't think Arizona needs it because of what Cliff was able to do when Kyler was out. Kyler Murray was out for three games, I think, and they were still winning ball games. And so I think that coaching showed through right there. I think Cliff, coming from college, getting the NFL experience, the playoffs and everything, I think there's a learning curve, just as there is for everybody else, players included. So I give him a pass there. The Cowboys, I don't know. I don't think it was coaching. The team just did not show up, which makes me think that, the Cowboys thought they were going to waltz into Jerry's world, handle the 49ers, and, carry on. Cowboys were rolling. Beginning of the season, they were rolling. They had some injuries. They fought through them. They're back in it. So at this point, I would give each, Cliff, I would give much longer leash. I think the Cowboys, maybe a shorter leash. But I don't see a change happening either side.
Yeah, I don't see a change happening on the other side. But if I had to make one choice on either one of those coaches, it will probably be Mike McCarthy. We've seen this before in Green Bay. The Dallas Cowboys have a ton of talent. There's no reason that they should lose to a 49ers team. Time management, clock management down the stretch kind of hurt. Obviously they have so much talent there. Their expectations was there to really win the Super Bowl because they have a ton of all-pro guys, running back, offensive line, good defense. And for you not to get out of the first round with that type of talent, I think everybody's to blame, players and coaches included. But when you're the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys with that type of talent, you may have to look for another job if you get bounced in the first round.
Orlando, you're Jerry. You keeping him or are you letting him go?
You know what? The funny thing about it, he has two offense and defensive coordinators there. That's hot. Obviously head coaching candidates everywhere else. I may let him go and go with one of my coordinators and move one of my coordinators, whether it's Dan Quinn or Kellen Moore. Is it Kellen Moore that's the offensive coordinator? Move one of those guys in the head coach just for a fresh start. I know he's only been there for two years, but he's still a retread in the NFL liking. But obviously Dan Quinn, it seemed like the players really respond. He did wonders with that defense. So I would probably move one of my hot coordinators to head coach and get rid of Mike McCarthy.
Bold move. I know, and we have seen it in Green Bay, and so the history is there. I would hope that Jerry does have his he's got both hands in the cookie jar with that team, and so he knows. I assume he knows what's going on in the locker room and that feeling of the team, and it all depends on what that locker room is feeling. If it's we lost because we didn't show up as players, or we lost because we don't like this head coach, that's going to be the judge. And I think that's the big issue there, where you should have. You go back and forth in the NFL all the time. Like, well, you're in the NFL. You don't need motivation. You should be able to play at the highest level. And then other sides, well, the coach has to motivate, has to get the guys up, get the guys ready. And, there's the duality of that. You do have your offense coordinator and defense coordinator are hot. Dan Quinn was our defensive line coach in 2007. So I'm a big fan of his. But I would probably go offense just because of Dak and what you need to do there if you were going to get rid of him. But it comes back down to, I think, what that locker room is feeling. If it's woe is us because of the head coach, I think he's got to go.
Yeah, when you look at it, though, what does Jerry do if he loses both of his coordinators to other organizations? Then he's stuck with just Mike McCarthy, and then he has to go find two other guys. So he's almost behind anyway, and he's leaning more on Mike McCarthy. And then you have to ask yourself as an owner, who was the reason for our success? Was it our coordinators, or was it our head coach? And he could be left, not with a good coaching staff in the next season. So I think if I'm an owner, I'm looking at all those things. Hey, I'm just left with Mike McCarthy and no young up and coming coordinators or that really helped propel our team this past year. You could really be behind where you were a year ago.
Kellen Moore just he's interviewing with Denver. They're getting opportunities over there, so it's an interesting time in Dallas for sure. All right, hey, global look at the playoffs right now. Do we like what we've had here with the 7th seed? Do we like the extra games, bye week for the 1 seed? Do we like this NFL formula right now? Orlando, you look like you're not in favor of it at all.
You know what? I thought I would like it until I saw a couple blowouts. There's no reason Philly should have been in the playoffs this year. Just my take on it. They didn't have a shot, to win any games whatsoever. It was a bad outing by them, and that team normally would get a bye, I would guess. So that was sort of a bye for Tampa, but I don't know if I liked it. As a player, I know I wouldn't like the 17th game and all that. So I'm gonna say no. I probably didn't like that 17 getting in.
Yeah, I think as a player, I'm already mad that we have to play an extra game during the regular season. And now, as a 2 seed, I got to play again in the first round of the playoffs. I wouldn't like it as a fan. I enjoyed having extra football. I didn't hate that fact. But I mean, I would have much rather seen the Chargers play than Pittsburgh. So, that would have been, I mean, seeing that would have been a lot better. I'm trying to think on the NFC side who I would have rather watched instead of Philly. And I really can't pick a team that I would have rather seen. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But I would say as a fan, I enjoy it. As a player, I would have hated it just because, that's more playing and more opportunity for injuries. And, it's changing, how we view the season and everything. So I think I'm looking at both sides.
You want him to go to 8 teams, Nick?
18. I would say yes if we go to 18 games, which is going to happen. Which I actually I was thinking about this, and I went through it in my brain thing, and I thought about it. 18 games would actually be, as a player, I absolutely despise it. I think 17 is too many. 16 was, too many as well, but it's what we had. As a player, I'd hate it. But as a fan, and I'm saying this as a fan, 18 games would be amazing because we'd have 18 game season. We'd have an 18 playoff, which would be fantastic. And then Super Bowl most likely would be on the Sunday before President's Day, holiday, and bam, we get Super Bowl Monday. It works out.
Hey, Nick, you really thought that one out, man. That's awesome.
Oh, I did.
The Nick Mangold, how do we get a holiday after the Super Bowl plan? 18 games, 8 playoff teams, 16 total. Voila.
And owners would love you for that, Nick. An extra game, 18 game. That's more revenue just coming into their pockets, man. I'm telling you.
Just come back in the pockets. Players would hate. Players are gonna hate. I'm gonna get texts. You said what? But yeah, I mean, as a fan, if you got Super Bowl Monday off, like that would be huge. And because the only reason I was looking at it was this year. My son is born February 6th, which was on Super Bowl Sunday. And this year, his birthday should have been on Super Bowl Sunday. It's on Sunday. But because of the 17-game schedule and everything being pushed back a week, we miss it by a week. And so that got me thinking, it was like, well, if we go 18 games, that's one more week. Bam. Like it fell into my lap, really.
I love it. And you're feeling hot right now. So let's make our picks. You all are playoff savvy. Orlando 2-1, Nick 2-1 season records. Orlando, you've crept over 500. Congratulations. 28-27. Nick now 31-23-1. I mean, just a shark of a gambler here. Congratulations. You all Cincinnati, Kansas City, San Francisco, the over coming in the Buffalo New England game for Nick as well. So 2-1, 2-1. You have the overall better record. Nick, I think you get to go first this week. Go to WynnBET for all your gambling needs, WYNNBET.com. Pick of the week, Sir Mangold.
Pick of the week. So again, I'm not fully sold. I'm sorry, Orlando. I'm not fully sold on the Rams. And they're going West Coast team going to the East Coast. I've never been a fan of it. So I'm taking the Bucks minus 2.5 versus the Rams.
Nice. For me, I'm going Kansas City over Buffalo, 1.5 points over Buffalo. I think Buffalo traveling to KC. That offense looked strong last week. Obviously with Patrick Mahomes. I think they get the running back this last week. I think they just have too much offensive firepower. I think they beat the Buffalo Bills this weekend.
I just think we all should underline the professionalism by Orlando there. You picked against his Rams. It was like water off a duck's back. No big deal. Nice pick, Nick. Congratulations. Way to go. That's a teammate right there. All right, upset of the week, Orlando. Who do you got?
You know what? I got my Rams. So we're technically going head-to-head, plus 2.5 over the Tampa Bay Bucks. They riding high. Odell's in the zone. That defense playing well. They take down Tom Brady and the Buccaneers this weekend.
Oof. See, that's why he liked to pick, because he knew he was going against me. So he was happy about it. He was like, all right. All right, my upset. I'm gonna ride them. And I got to tell you, it was difficult this week. Only having 4 games, trying to pick games and everything makes it tricky. But I'm riding my Bengals. I know Derrick Henry's coming back, and I know the Bengals defense has been decent, not great, but I'm hoping that he's rusty. I'm getting the Bengals plus 3.5 versus the Titans, and I hope they do it. I think Joe Cool is on fire, and he's got that winning mentality. I got to keep riding him.
Let's play the number. Biggest one is KC and Buffalo at 55, and then the lowest is the Bengals and Titans at 47. 49ers, Packers 47.5. The Rams and Bucks is 49. Nick, you're up.
I hate this. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. But after the over-unders this week were very difficult. Only having 4 to choose from. It was very, very tough to come up with. I am actually taking under this week. I don't like it. I'm saying it now. I think I should get an asterisk. 49ers versus the Packers. I'm taking the under 47.5. It's going to be ice cold. I think the Packers will run the ball, or the 49ers will run the ball. The Packers will do enough to score and win. I don't think they get the 47.5.
Orlando, are you noticing the complaining here? Only 4 games. The numbers aren't good. I think last week he said I was never going to go under again. Did you not say that?
I did, and that's why it stinks. I forced myself into going to an under, and it's not good. I was not happy about it.
The pain is real. All right.
I'm telling you, well, I'm riding this game hard. Rams, Tampa Bay. I am riding it hard. I am going over 49 points. Like Nick, I really don't like the numbers on a lot of these games on the board, but I think my Rams and Tampa Bay will be a high-scoring deal, and I think they'll be over 49 points.
Gentlemen, a lot of fun as we creep towards it here. Championship weekend coming up, but this should be an awesome, awesome weekend of football. Hopefully a lot better than last. Great to be with you. Good stuff as always. Appreciate it. Let's enjoy the divisional round.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Let's go Bengals.
Let's go Rams.